Hello everyone. So in this video, we're going to be looking at Uttanasana, the standing forward fold. And this pose is probably the first standing forward fold that we learn. And it's really great for lengthening and creating more flexibility in the back of the legs. And these can be rather tight, so please be patient. This may take some time. Just be patient. Okay, so you'll see I have blocks here, and that's to make the pose a little bit more accessible. Sometimes trying to get our hands to the floor is just not accessible at first, especially if our hamstrings are tight, and trying to make that happen can just cause excess strain that we don't really need and doesn't help you anyway. So you can either place blocks under the hands, which essentially brings the floor a little closer to me, or you could even take a chair. If the blocks aren't quite high enough, using a chair is fine as well. So to do the forward fold, we want to be able to create a forward or anterior tilt in the pelvis. So if I bring my hands here, basically my waist, this is the top of my pelvic bone here. And in essence, I want to fold forward by tilting the front and top edge of the pelvis forward. And I want to try to keep my low back straight. So if our hamstrings are tight the low back is probably going to try to round. And then we really want to get there, right? In our minds, and our eyes see the floor, and we're like, we want to reach for the floor. So we end up like this, and kind of rounding and losing the integrity of the posture. One thing that may be helpful is actually bending the knees. So watch this. I'm going to actually bend my knees, which helps give my hamstrings a little bit of a break there. And then I'm going to tilt the pelvis forward to come forward. And this may help me keep my low back straight. Rounding causes strain to the low back. And then I'm going to take my hands to the blocks, taking the hands right under the shoulders. And then I just lengthen my spine with each inhale. And with each exhale, I just gently maybe go a little deeper if it's accessible. I'm not going to force it. I'm going to be patient. So starting with the knees bent is a wonderful option. And then over time, again, be patient. We can work towards straightening the legs. And so we work towards straightening not by pushing the knees back, which really kind of disengages the muscles we need. Instead, with the knees bent again, I'm going to push my feet down into the floor. And as I do that, I'm going to try to lift my pelvis up. So the feet press down and the pelvis lifts up. And that action helps to work towards straightening the legs, but it keeps the muscles nice and engaged. If my muscles in my legs are not engaged, the whole posture kind of loses integrity. So notice what happens if I kind of disengage and just kind of hang out in the joints or just don't really do it in an active way. I'm going to kind of feel like a wet noodle. It just kind of collapses. So the more I push down into the feet and lift the hips up and keep lengthening the spine, the more I'm going to be engaging the very muscles that keep it nice and keep the integrity of the posture. And then to come up, you can come up with a straight back. It's also another option you could bend your knees, take your hands to the thighs, and let that help assist you to come back up. Now I'm going to show it with the straight leg option all the way through, and then a bent leg option one more time. So this time I'm going to do it with the legs straight. I'm going to push the feet down into the floor nice and firm, and lengthen the spine. And then I'm going to tilt the pelvis forward. It's also helpful to engage the lower belly. And then I'm going to tilt the pelvis forward, keeping the back nice and straight as I fold. So I don't know if you could see, my pelvis is kind of tipping forward and rotating forward. And I'm nice and long. I could take my hands to my ankles, the floor, or the blocks, or even a chair. And then to come up, I would push down into the feet. Again, if this is the straight leg option, I press down into the feet, lift the pelvis up, draw the lower belly in nice and strong, and I use all of that muscular energy to help lift me up with a straight back. And that does take some time, so be patient. But again, with the bent knee option, I bend the knees, I tilt the pelvis forward, and just keep the spine nice and long. Sometimes we'll even bend the knees kind of deeply and let the rib cage kind of rest against the thighs. And then I push down into the feet, lift the hips up. Even if our legs are bent, I'm still going to create that action, so I'm lengthening the back of the hamstrings. And then to come up, again, this is the bent knee option. I could keep the knees bent, take the hands to the thighs, and use that to help me come back up. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Again, that's Uttanasana, the standing forward fold. And in the next video, we're going to be actually taking a standing forward fold where one leg is forward and one leg is back, called Parshvottanasana. Thank you. Have a great day.